Signore e signori, buonasera, benvenuti alla casa italiana zerilli-marimò della New York University. My name is Stefano Albertini, I'm the director. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all here tonight for an evening of fun, amusement, and also education. We have the great privilege to have with us tonight the company Pazzi Lazzi that is based in Boston and is in New York for a couple of days presenting the great tradition of Italian commedia dell'arte. Chiara Durazzini, who is coming after me, is going to give a short introduction to what commedia dell'arte is. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just saying that is at the basis of the training of most actors still now in all parts of the world. So it's one of the great legacies of Italian theater. Before we begin, I would like to thank them for their visit to Casa Italiana. I would like to recognize in the audience two important presence of Italian theater in New York. First of all, Mario Fratti here in the front row, who is a legend of Italian theater. Mario Fratti is a very active playwright, director, and theater critic. I believe he still goes to the theater every night, Mario? Are you going somewhere after this?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. And he writes basically every week for Americoggi, so he can keep you updated on everything that happens, not only in Italian theater, but theater in general. And his works has been translated in all the languages of the world, and are still represented everywhere. And back there we have Laura Caparrotti, who is the director of our theater company. Grazie, Laura. Of our theater company residence here at New York University Casa Italiana, KID. And without further ado, please welcome Chiara Durazzini of Pazzi Lazzi.
Grazie. Benvenuti, welcome. I'm very happy to let you know something about Commedia dell'arte before we start our show, so that you will know what you're gonna see. So, what is Commedia dell'arte? Commedia dell'arte is a particular kind of theater that developed in Italy in the middle 1500s. And in fact, a contract, a document was found by historians. It's a document that puts together a small troupe of men actors, and it's dated in 1545, and it's from Padova. Commedia dell'arte is famous for improvised dialogue and stock characters, as you probably know, and is still performed today like Pazzi Lazzi and many other troupes in Italy, but also here in the States. There are many good Commedia dell'arte troupes. The origins commedia derives from Latin comedies like the Atellana, which used farce and basic plots and masks. But of course, Commedia dell'arte, as many of you probably know, it's a development of street performers who staged shows in town squares and fairs around Italy, especially during Carnevale. So you could see, as the next slide, you could see this is Piazza San Marco in Venezia, and you can see a small Commedia dell'arte troupe performing a scene. You can see Pantalone and the noblewoman playing probably a lute, and then there is a sort of a snake charmer or somebody with a snake, and on the other side you can see a sort of an Arlecchino that was called Burattino, but he was like a servant. Next. How do we know about Commedia dell'arte and about what the actors were doing and were playing? First of all, we have good collections of scenarios. The most famous one is Il Teatro delle Favole Rappresentative of Flaminio Scala, dated 1611. But also we have very interesting iconography showing characters and scene. So paintings, images, drawings, and so on from that time. The most interesting things are actually the accounts by contemporaries, especially letters of the comedians. There are very interesting letters between the comedians or from the comedians to the courts that were hosting them. Now, Commedia dell'Arte is called dell'Arte because in medieval terminology, arte means work. It means professione, mestiere. And in fact, the name Commedia dell'Arte implies performances by professional actors. And this is the first time that in the Western world we see professional theater. In fact, before the teatro erudito, or learned theater, was performed by academics, and it was actually written and performed by amateurs, usually in the courts of kings and queens throughout Europe in the Renaissance and Baroque time. And for the first time also, Commedia dell'Arte is important because women are on stage. So before, you probably already know that female roles were interpreted by male actors. So male actors put a lot of makeup on, a big wig and nice clothes, and they were doing female parts. But for the first time, women are allowed on stage. This is the portrait of Isabella Andreini, one of the most famous actresses of Commedia dell'Arte. She was in the troupe I Gelosi, called I Gelosi. That was a very big, important company that toured all around Europe, and they especially toured in France. They were very big in France. They were invited many, many times. She had a wonderful life. She was known to be very well learned, a wonderful artist. She died in 1604, giving birth during a journey back to Italy from France. And that's when the company I Gelosi dissolved. Commedia dell'Arte is also famous because it's a touring, the troupes were touring companies. And again, as I was saying, it started in Italy, but it became really famous throughout Europe, especially in France. And I Gelosi, name of the company, but they had interesting names, I Desiosi, I Confidenti, Gli Uniti, and so on. Characteristics. The first characteristic, as you probably know, of Commedia dell'Arte is improvisation. The scenarios, the plots were written. Remember Flaminio Scala with the collection of scenarios. He writes what happens in the show, but he doesn't write the dialogues. So actors were always improvising during the show their conversations. The themes are really interesting. Of course, love is the most important theme, right? But with that comes strong passions and despair, misunderstandings of lovers, infidelity, lost and reunited twins or siblings, fake or real madness. One of the scenarios was called La Pazzia di Isabella, where Isabella, the noblewoman, pretends to be crazy, right? And this is a theme that we see a lot, like many others, even in Shakespeare. For example, another one is disguises. Girl disguised as a man. That was it was a device that the comedians would resort to very often. Again, as I was saying, the dialogues were completely improvised. However, we need to keep in mind that these actors were professionals. So they would do one show day after day after day. So yes, they improvised because they didn't have anything written, but they knew it. You know, they had experience. So it's a big debate now among historians how much improvisation there actually was in a Commedia dell'Arte show. Next. Let's talk a little bit about the stock characters. So as I was saying, Commedia dell'Arte started in squares and streets, so the characters needed to be very quickly recognized from far away. That's why we have stock characters with the same costume every time, the same mask, and they needed to have a very big physicality. They needed to have big gestures to be seen from far away. So stock characters, the plots changed, but the characters would remain always the same, show after show after show in different shows. And actors were very talented. They needed to be acrobats, orators, dancers, musicians, a little bit of everything. However, every actor would specialize during his or her life to play the same character. For example, Isabella Andreini that we saw before, she was the noblewoman very often. They would, male characters wore leather masks, women didn't. Because of course, if a Commedia dell'Arte company had the fortune to have a female actress with them, they wouldn't waste the beauty to attract the audience covering it with a mask, covering the face with a mask, right? That was good business. So masks only on male characters and male actors. Characters are divided by age, old and young, gender, male or female, social class, noble or servant. Let's see a little bit the characters very quickly. You all know Pantalone, upper class, old age. He's the old merchant from Venice. He's very rich and greedy, and he's small, thin, and but still very energetic. Dottore, that you will see tonight, he's also upper class. He's the university professor from Bologna who makes fun of doctors and professors, so you here will have some good time. And of course, he thinks he knows everything, but in reality, he doesn't know that much. Yeah. And of course, he thinks he knows everything, so he has a very invasive personality. He's big, he's fat, he's everywhere. Arlecchino is the most famous servant, right? He's smart, he's almost like a cat or a puppet, he's always in trouble, he's always hungry, and he's cheerful, agile, but he doesn't want to work. Pulcinella is a later character, because Commedia dell'Arte in southern Italy arrived a little bit later. But Pulcinella is also a very, very famous character from Naples. He's poor, romantic, very hungry, and from him, some characters like Punch in England or Pierrot in France come from. Gli innamorati, the lovers. The lovers are also known as amorosi or i nobili. They are wealthy, they are young, often they are daughters and sons of one of the older characters. They wore no masks because, well, one was a woman, the other is the only male character that doesn't wear a mask to distinguish his high nobility from everyone else. They were very elegant, very polite, and they were the learned characters. So during Commedia dell'Arte shows, usually they would play the lute, recite poetries, and so on. La servetta is the young female servant. She was very beautiful. She's the quintessence of femininity. She's the female version of Arlecchino. And her name, the most famous one, is Colombina. But we also see Franceschina, Ricciolina, and so on. Il Capitano is always funny. He comes, I would say, from the Miles Gloriosus, from the Roman comedies. He's, of course, he thinks that he's strong, handsome, invincible, but in reality, you know, he's always full of fears. And he's often a foreigner. It's interesting how in some documents, documents of the times, they would list where some of the countries where the Capitano came from. One of the most common was Spain, but another one was Sicilian. There was a foreigner. The names are really funny. Capitan Fracassa, Capitan Spaventa, Capitan Spezzaferro. What language they used? So each character spoke the dialect of the region that came from. So, for example, Arlecchino is from Bergamo and he speaks a sort of a Lombardo dialect. Venice, Venetian, with Pantalone, e Pulcinella, of course, Napoletano. But the nobles spoke a perfect Tuscan, which is, you know, the Italian, the pure Italian, I would dare to say, because I'm from Tuscany. However, when they were traveling abroad, they would either mix the two languages. I mean, usually they would recite in Italian. Sometimes they would mix some of the local language, and in other times they would resort to gramlo or gibberish. Just start talking, and you know, people. It was a very physical theater. You know, even foreign audience would understand it. Now let's talk a little bit about the Lazzi, because we are Pazzi Lazzi, right? So Lazzi are comic tricks that were used by actors to entertain the audience and make the show funny. And we don't know where the etymology comes from. It can be from the Tuscan lacci, strings, ribbons, little tricks that put together different scenes, that tie different scenes, or lacci, like the action, lazzi, l'azione, the actual, the more physical actions, because many lazzi were acrobatics. And usually actors just did them when they saw that the audience was beginning to be slightly bored, maybe. And it's interesting because we do have written lazzi from the 1500, the 1600. They are unbelievable. I mean, they are very daring, very physical. Some are word-based, but there are enemas and pulling teeth. I mean, really heavy stuff. Next. This is 1584 drawing in which we see Arlecchino doing a sort of a handstand, and it's an acrobatic lazzo. Commedia dell'arte begins to decline in the second half of the 1700s, although it had influenced for a couple of centuries most of the playwrights that we now know very well, like Shakespeare, Molière, Lope de Vega, Goldoni, and so on. It began to become a little bit stale because the scenarios were always the same, the lazzi were always the same, they were repeating themselves, and at the beginning of the 1800s, a more realistic theater begins to be more important. Commedia dell'arte was not a realistic theater. As I was saying, it was very grotesque. Very big gestures, impossible plots, right? But with the 1800s, we begin to see more realistic theater, especially a kind of theater that started to criticize the social situations of the various countries, which Commedia dell'arte didn't do that much. Or it did it, but very slightly. However, today, Commedia dell'arte is still considered the foundation of modern comedy. inspires many artists, many painters still. And during the Carnevale, as you probably know, in Italy, you see many little children going around dressed as Arlecchino, Colombina, or if you go to the Carnevale di Venezia, you will see many of the Commedia dell'Arte characters. It's still a pretty well-known kind of art. Here we have a Pablo Picasso and a Cézanne with two Arlecchini. Thank you. Grazie. Thank you so much. So now that you have a better idea about Commedia dell'Arte, we are going to start our demonstration, show demonstration, Aria di Commedia. It's two different and independent scenarios that I and the other actors wrote based on our improvisations, but we kept in mind all the devices and the tricks that they were actually doing in the 1500s, 1600s, and 1700s. So enjoy Aria di Commedia. Grazie.
Signore e signori, welcome to Aria di Commedia. Close your eyes and imagine that we are in an Italian town in a piazza, and it's March 1593. In this piazza, a troupe of Commedia dell'Arte performers put up a small wooden stage and perform some scenes to entertain the passers-by. Arlecchino, Pulcinella, Pantalone, and maybe even the beautiful, noble lady Flaminia are some of the characters you might see on that wooden stage in that Italian piazza. So sit back, relax, and come with me to enjoy Aria di Commedia.
Mortadella, una prosciuttona che sei, bella ragazza. Buonasera, ma la salute a tutti quanti. Hello, benvenidos. May I introduce myself? Yep. Grazie, maestro. Who am I? Oh, I am el perfetto Dottore Giangurgolo Pancione Balanzone da Bologna. I am a famous doctor. I am the famous doctor of medicamenti, potions, vitamins. I am the best plastic surgeon of all times. Everybody needs me. You need me. You need me too. Well, by the way, all kings, queens, and stars needs my Botox, propanum, gasoline. I am better than a miracle. Oh, this is better than a miracle. I cure every syndrome, every remedy, malady, disease. For example, I remember a terrible case. This man, this patient, was blind, but with my cure, his intestine was not blind anymore. Ho ridato la vista a un intestino cieco. With my cosmetic, physical diagnosis, I take care of your hemicranical sclerosis, cul-de-sac, coronarum appendix, dead end. Yeah, you understand? How do I do that? Well, since I am the best plastic surgeon of all times, I inflate, this is the method, I inflate in your lips my sphincteratical, adenoidal, hemorrhoidal solution. I solve any problems of cerebral flatulence. I am the artist of enema. My Botox enema is like a blowtorch. Oh, but speaking of blowtorch, I'm also an astronomer. I'm also a lawyer. I know. I'm a professional. I'm also a philosopher, and I'm a writer, a poet, and gran paracula and gran benefactor della umanità. Excelentissimum non disputandum est. I know, je suis intelligent. Me habla español. I'm the guru. Old people say I'm full of baloney, but of course I'm full of baloney. I was born in Bologna when I grew up, where I grew up with my mouth full of salame, mortadella, fino più una salsiccia. But when I no, you, the girl, when I shish your mortadellona like that, when I shish, with a shape like a round woman, I fall in love. Ipso fatto seduta stante right now, right off the bat. Penitenziagite miserere lo corpo mio innamorato. I'm head over heels di quella bella, bella ragazza. Bella, mua! She deserves my old baloney pony. But my stallion, no. My stallion has left the barn. What are you laughing for? Her garden is so green. But my hose, the hose of the garden, is not able anymore to give her enough water. No funciona! Oh, her legs, I love her legs. Her legs. But my third leg, la terza gamba, won't rise to the occasion. Ictus ignis ardente, bedrum, lovaris departitus est, sic impera mundi berlusconaticum nel rensis, intrafallo iacta est. I need to find a solution. I tried every syrup, every remedy, every potion. For example, I tried chocolate, I tried hot chili pepper, I tried papaya, figs, oysters, elephant's trunk, extract oil, and I mixed them and I rubbed them all over my naked body, and nothing happened. I even tried water from the Holy Grail. It didn't work. But I'm still looking for the special medicine, the antidote. Wait. Who is around here? Who can give me some idea? some suggestion. You're laughing. Your wife looks very happy. Tell me your secret. No. I believe, with all my intelligence, that Arlecchino, that silly servant, Arlecchino would have the right solution. Shh, don't tell him that he's right, otherwise he gets a big head. Arlecchino, ma dove sei? Ma dove ti sei cazzato, Arlecchino? Arlecchino!
Arrivo, buonasera, servo vostro, dottor Balanzone. Sì.
I need your help with something.
Yes, do you have a job for me? Lucrative, but small.
I met a wonderful girl, and I'm in love.
Oh, this is so romantic. Tell me more. What's her name?
Oh, her name? Oh, that's not very important, my friend. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name could smell as sweet.
Yes, this is so poetic. Where did you hear that?
I wrote it. Of course, I'm a poet, I'm a writer, well, I'm a philosopher, I'm an herbalist, I'm a pharmacist, and I'm a homeopath.
I'm a homeopath. What's this job?
I have
You have what?
I have a big problem. It's small.
Wait, is it small or is it big?
It's big, but it's small.
It's very small. All right. Let me think. Yes. I might have the right remedy for you. I am thinking about, yes, a good friend of mine with a particular profession.
Oh, he's a doctor.
No.
Is he a carpenter?
No.
Is he a tailor?
No. Better. He's a butcher.
A butcher? No, thank you. I'm already circumcised.
No, but listen. This very good friend of mine, a very skilled butcher from Greve in Chianti in Tuscany, he sells world-known cold cuts.
Cold cuts?
No, I mean cold cuts, like finocchione, salame, mortadella, prosciutto, mortadella, soprassata, curatello.
Culatellarum, culatellandum necesse est.
Yes. So, he also makes really tasty salsicce, sausages. Yes, and these sausages are known all around the world for their curing properties. Yes. I heard that they can cure any medical problem. To obtain the desired effect, you eat them, ingest them, inject them like a shot, insert them
In my mouth?
no, in your ear. Yeah, this way, the sausages, will make you solid, powerful, long-lasting.
Arlecchino, that's the ticket. Run with it.
I will. Oh, no, but wait. The sausages are, miracle sausages, so particularly expensive. expensive. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100 fiorini d'oro. 100 golden florins. Grazie.
My money purse is empty. Help me look for some change.
Dove? Maybe here? No. Maybe down here? No. Maybe on...
No.
No. Maybe down there? Ah! There's nothing there.
Tell the butcher that I will pay him later.
All right.
Declinazione salsiccione. Oh, that's an important discovery of science. If I get an injection of salsiccia. You know, usually women become pregnant when they eat a raw sausage. Ingravidandum pregnantis salsicciorande. Mo bravo!
Grazie, servo vostro, al vostro servizio, servitore, servente seviziato.
Bravo!
Grazie. Ed ecco la soluzione per i vostri problemi. I leave you in privacy, enjoy.
Finally, I will roll in the hay. I will satisfy her. Oh, but she's a wonderful singer too. She sings like a cat. She has a melodic, enchanting voice, and her feet. Oh, I love her feet. She has such beautiful feet. Stinky, but beautiful.
Oh, how sweet, the stinky feet.
And she has such two beautiful eyes. One green, one blue, crossed, but beautiful.
That's strange, but interesting.
And she's a wonderful cook too. Yeah, she burns everything, but I love her still.
What? She burns everything?
And her breath, oh, I love her breath. Her breath smells of lasagna. She smells like she has never taken a bath, but I still love to kiss her. And her behind is so cute and round. Huge, but cute and round.
Wait a minute. I know this woman. This is Franceschina.
Arlecchino, are you sure it's working?
Dottor Balanzone, may I ask you something?
Yes.
Is this woman a wonderful singer? I mean, she sings like a cat. But she is a wonderful singer.
Mo yes, mo sì, ma cosa dici? Certo.
And excuse me, does she also have brilliant eyes? One green, one blue, crossed, but brilliant.
Ma yes, ma sì.
Excuse me, but wait a minute. Does she also have a really pretty, cute, round behind, although extremely huge?
Ma yes, ma sì.
I can't believe this. This is Franceschina. This is my girlfriend.
Arlecchino, this method doesn't work.
Dottor Balanzone, you need more treatment.
I know.
Ay. I know a better way. to achieve a harder solidity, this FDA-approved method is called...
It's called?
Rigor mortis. Yes, this one will get you all the way up. Rigor mortis.
Rigor mortis.
Yes, look on your book. Rigor, rigor, R come Roma.
Constipation.
No.
Diarrhea.
No, R come Roma.
Menstruation.
No.
Oh, sì. Sì. Syphilis.
No, I was talking about rigor mortis.
Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis.
Read it for me.
Rigor mortis is the total stiffness of the corpse after the last bit of life. Rigor mortis is the total stiffness of the corpse after the last bit of life has completely left the body. But this means death.
Yes, a little bit dead, but not completely dead. And besides, this way your body becomes totally stiff.
Arlecchino? Why I never thought about this before? But of course, but a scientist like me could come up with this brilliant idea.
Of course. So, Dr. Balanzone, let's get ready for this treatment, right?
Yeah.
So, do what I do. Big breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And then massage. And then you will need a lot of concentration.
I can't get up! Help!
That we know. But I will pump you up. Let's get ready for the actual treatment. Don't be nervous, don't panic. I'm sure that this will be the best medicine ever. Right? Are you ready?
Pronto!
E via! 1, rigor mortis!
Franceschina, I'm coming!
And now, Franceschina, my darling, you can be only mine. And I'm going to give you a real hard time.
Flauto Italiano.
beautiful, wealthiest, gracious woman in all of Ravenna. Every inch of me is covered in riches. These are my diamonds, made from the deepest and darkest mines of South Africa. And these are my rubies, imported from Switzerland. And this is my dress. It is hand-stitched, and it's made just for me, all the way from Paris. And this is my tiara. It's made of Swarovski crystals, imported from Vienna. Oh, and lastly, this is my train. My train. My train. My train is made of the softest, finest silk. It's imported, and it's made from, made in China. How exotic! But I have a problem. Although I am rich and beautiful and elegant, and every man falls in love with me, and I have to marry one of them. So, well, I have acquired a short list of qualified candidates. All right, here we are. In alphabetical order. Alberto, Alfonso, Aldonso, Peppino, Carlo, Carletto, Coviello, Culatello. Culatello, I very much like, but, you know, I think he needs to go on a diet, for his belly precedes him. Perhaps he could try the paleo diet. I hear it's very effective. Dante, Donatello, Francesco, Lorenzo. Oh, Lorenzo le Magnifique. Lorenzo is always going from this country and that, conquering them all, but he's always showing off his sword. And he's never paying attention to me. Too bad. Ninetto, the O's, Orlando, Orazio. Orazio is very sweet and very dear, but he's always writing poetry about the stars and the moon, but it's never about me. Roberto, Riccardo. Riccardo is a very modern man indeed. In fact, he is always sending me messages from his device. But you know, he never wants to FaceTime. And who doesn't want to look at my face? Orlando, Rodolfo, Rinaldo. Who needs any of these? They're not romantic, and I want someone who will be poetic, someone sensitive. Maybe an artist. Yes. Maybe a musician. Maybe someone who plays, a different instrument, yes. Maybe an instrument that's a bit more percussive, yes. Maybe, the tamborello.
Pulcinella, we have so much fun together.
Remember last night?
Che tarantella! Oh, Pulcinella, I love you very much. You are so handsome, and kind, and funny. You are my dream man. But you don't want to commit. I think it's time for a certain gift.
In fact, I have a present for you. I just got it at the farmer's market, and I thought of you. No, this way. It's yours.
You are always thinking about that thing.
What thing?
Eating.
But it's fresh.
Don't be fresh. I don't want it fresh. I want it old and small, but not too small, and of course hard. Very, very hard.
My love, I would like to give you that present, but you are always whining. Speaking of whining,
Yes.
remember how much wine you drank last night at the wine cellar where I work?
No.
No?
No.
We agreed no strings attached, but you were attached to all the flasks in the wine cellar. I thought we were friends with benefits, but the only benefit you enjoyed was the wine. And now my boss fired me. Yes, because he found out that all flasks were empty. And since I don't work anymore at the cantina, no work, no money, no present.
Ah, Pulcinella, ask not what your wine can do for you, ask what you can do for me. You don't understand my needs. You don't even remember our 2 days anniversary.
2 days anniversary? I thought we were dating from last week.
Oh, Pulcinella, please make my day.
I will. Hey, don't worry. I will.
When?
Quando?
Quando?
Dimmi quando tu verrai. When pigs fly, that'll be the day. No, pigs. No. But I love her, and I must make her happy. Guaglio, I'm going downtown for pizza business. Don't wait for me tonight.
What? Wait! Ma dove vai? Wait a minute. He's going downtown without me? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I think I'm gonna spy on him.
Blinded. Lady, may I know your name?
I am Flaminia, the most beautiful, wealthiest woman in all of Ravenna. Oh, and may I know your name?
My name is Pizzaiolo, Pisellone, Polpettone, Pulcinella.
Oh, 3 Ps. I could add them to my list. Oh, I see you are admiring my jewels. Well, let me tell you about them. These are my diamonds, made from the deepest, darkest mines of South Africa.
We know.
And these are my rubies, imported from Switzerland.
No.
And this is my tiara, and it's made of Skarvakovsky crystals from Vienna. And lastly, this is my train. It's made of the finest silk, imported all the way from China. Do you like my jewels?
I like your jewels. They're so blinding.
Oh, well, you will be very blinded if I show you the entire collection. Come with me.
I knew, lo sapevo. He was up to no good. But Pulcinella is only mine. I need to get rid of that woman. But how? Oh, maybe I can treat her with her own exotic silk train. Or maybe, I could change. Yes, maybe I can become a different person, a better person. Maybe I can be more cool, like more sick, more swag. Yeah, like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's up, bro? What do you think about that? Okay? No? Yeah, it wasn't that great. Wait. So maybe I need a disguise.
blood, 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 blood. No, blood, eyeballs, kidneys, heart, blood, blood. I'm dying. Oh!
Bad acting.
Mucho gusto, señorita. Io come from Spain. And I am the most famous caballero del mundo, capitán de batallas all over the world. Ha 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 ha. Yes.
May I know your name?
Ha! I am Capitan Tres Huevos.
Oh, tres huevos. It must be jewelry.
No, but close. Tres huevos, 3 eggs. Most men have only 2. Oh,
I do like a firm frittata in my pan.
tú eres muy hermosa. Muy formosa. Yes, so you're stealing my heart, mi corazón explode. Boom, de amor por ti. And I am sure that you would like to get to know me better, as I am the most famous caballero del mundo, capitán de batallas all over the world. Yes, in fact, in Asia, for example, I fought an army of Chinese dragons with my good friend, that guy that went to Asia.
Kro.
No,
Gronkowski.
yeah, right. Chi era? Who was that?
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo.
Thank you, Marco Polo. Yes. And after that, I went to conquer another big new world with another good friend of mine.
Tom Brady.
I don't think that was the right one. Please, the new world.
Cristoforo Colombo.
Grazie.
Cristoforo Colombo.
Sì, era lui. Yeah, together we won an army of wild turkeys. Yes, but now I'm here in Italy, la tierra dell'amor, muy rica, muy bonita, but not as beautiful as you.
He's so romantic.
And, my dear, I came here to fight my last, most crucial battle against a horde of smelly, dirty, ugly, brutti, puzzolenti barbarians down in Naples!
I won the Champions League of pizza throwing.
And I...
It was a big battle, okay?
Yeah, right. And I, io, tengo oro, caballos y castillos. Yes, I own castles all over the world, and I would like to show them to you.
And I'm good at singing opera.
And I, io, have traveled all over the world from north to south. But now, mi querida, that I see your eyes, los ojos tuos, so cross, I mean, so beautiful. Te quiero, te amo, I love you, marry me, mi corazón, come with me to my Spanish castle in Andalusia. Ole.
No, don't follow him. Let me show you my gland. My gland canyon.
Oh, I do love the grand view.
So, mi querida, if you like a grand view, come with me to my Spanish castle in Andalusia. So, my darling, let's go together, let's get married, but, I have to fight the this last battle muy peligrosa, very dangerous. So, my darling, you go first, and I will come later, much, much later. So, darling, yes, you go. Go. Yes, my darling. Yes, goodbye. Yes, querida, mi querida. You know what? Go to the port. Sail my private ship, and there you can go to my Spanish castle, and we will meet again. Goodbye.
No, I want to meet again right now.
Yes, no, and the last kiss.
I'm going to see the world.
Arrivederci. Adios, I mean.
Au revoir, mon petit chou.
Oddio.
Capitano, attenti! Bravo, capitano! Ale, l'O-ring che ci O-ring! Please, I beg you, I must have it! I spent the whole day pretending to court that awful woman, quella brutone, to steal one of her rings, to give it to my beloved Colombina, the only woman I love.
So he does love me. All right. I will give you the ring, but you must promise to marry her.
Sì, I will. Sì, capitano mio.
This is the end of the show, and the actors e comici dell'arte begin to pack their bags, load the carriages, and start the long and difficult journey to the next town. This is their work. This is their arte.